Okay, so what have we got today then? What have we got to work on?
Well, right here we've got one set of probably, I don't know, eight windows from an old barn in France. A friend of mine has just bought a property, and he's brought these over for me to have a look at.
Okay.
So he's taken them off, and this is what we've got. So I've not really looked at it, so you can see, obviously, the glass is all gone. This is the, looking at it from this side is the inside of the window, and that's the outside. As you can, that's the outside. So if we start with the outside, you can see how bad this is. These weathered boards here.
So why don't you just throw it away then? Why
Well,
can't they just replace it?
I will replace this one, and I might replace both of them. It's hard. I'm not sure yet, but like this section here, I'll cut it, and I'll have a nice profile to copy, and put two new pieces on. I think with some nice period oak. And then we've got the loose broken joints here, and you can see here, that's all worm.
Is that where all the hinges were?
No, that's worm.
Right.
That's termites or whatever it is. I don't know. But, and yeah, I'm not going to replace the whole rail. I will probably cut down. Along here and then splice it out. So probably go quite far down and then glue it on and rebuild it, because the rest of it's all right. Then we've got a section here, looking at it, you can see that's all been hacked out for some strange reason.
So how old is this then?
I don't know, it could be 1700s, it could be 1800s.
So they can't just replace it, so this has to be...
I think these are more of a conservation thing, because...
They can't just replace it, but they can just repair it.
They can replace it, but it'd have to be like for like, but that turns out to be really expensive. So I'm sure we can keep the cost down by repairing them, and then they've got to decide whether they want to keep them natural or paint them. But the glass here, I think they probably would have just had a 4mm piece of glass, maybe even less, and then puttied in, which isn't very, up to date standards. So I might rebate those down a little bit more and put a thicker piece of glass in, and then putty them in, nail and putty them in. But these windows would have shutters on the outside, so at least that's protecting the wind. The wood and everything, and also it's helping keeping out a lot more draft. So having double glazed in these is probably not that necessary. But yeah, so that's where we are. So I just got to take it apart and roughly see how to go about it.
Okay, so
like I say, this is the first of a handful. So do a nice job on this. I'll get the rest to do.
Okay, well I'll when you've started on something, we'll start filming again and show you how all the individual bits are done.
Okay. There we go. See, that's the thickness of the glass, the original glass. So it's about 3mm. Or something. A lot of tin, so it's been really botched together. So once I get it all cleaned up, so there we are.
We can start looking at the individual bits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come out, come out, come out, come out. It takes ages. It's a long one. This is where you get tennis elbow. Okay, that'll do.
It's coffee time at the Real Antique Workshop. Okay, so what are we doing now? What's the next stage?
Well, I want to take these off. Obviously just ripping it off, getting a screwdriver under it and ripping it might damage all the back and everything. So you try to figure out how to do that without breaking everything to pieces. So what I'm going to do, hopefully it works, I'm just going to cut right in half. Looks like it's actually solid. That's no, it's,
It just looks solid, it isn't.
no, it's added on. Let me see if I can get underneath. Okay.
No, this is where it all falls apart.
Well,
It looks pretty rotten anyway. So you're going to replace all of that?
actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock these joints out. So there's a plug in there. So that's one. Save those. Okay.
So the plan is to do what?
The plan is to get this off. I want to get this off so I can make a new one and see how bad this bottom rail is.
Okay.
So once I've done that, I'll show you where we are.
Okay.
I've just been knocking these dowels out. So,
right.
where's that? There it is. So just get a.
So that holds this in, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what I'm doing, I've decided to do, is dismantle it basically. That way, once I dismantle, I've got this out. I can cut that off with this on the saw.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, so they're now out.
It should just knock apart.
Well, it should do, but whether they do, yeah, that's.
There you go.
That's broken. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Right.
That's the dust of the workshop.
Oh yeah, no. That's just me coughing. Save these because they can go back in.
So considering the age of this is still pretty solid wood.
Yeah, I say, and there's another one there.
There's no reason why it won't last another 100 years.
Well, that's why it's not worth, you know, all the work that goes into this, making it from brand new again, would be very expensive.
And this has had time to settle as well, the wood.
Yeah, so there's a dowel there.
Hey honey, what do you think? What do you think?
Not a lot.
So, could knock that all apart.
Gonna try.
And then see where we are next.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this is
Okay.
everything kind of bashed apart.
Well, yeah. What we've done is I've taken this apart. Whether that was the most sensible thing, I don't know. But we've got a broken tenon on this end. Goes in there. Broken tenon on this end. That came out fine. And obviously this is the rotten rail. So it looks like I'm going to have to make a whole new rail and also 2 of these. So obviously got the same problem with this one.
This is the outside we're looking at now.
This is the outside, yeah. So what I'm thinking with this one, opposed to taking all these out again and possibly breaking bits, I think if I just cut this right out and then rebuild this bottom rail
Without pulling it apart.
Without pulling it apart, yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I've got to focus on that now. And yeah, and that's where we are. So I think until you start, you don't always know how to go about it, but we're getting there.
Okay. What are we doing now?
Right, I've got this bottom rail out without dismantling the whole thing. So we have a broken tenon here. It should look like that. And obviously this was on there like that. So what I'm deciding to do, yeah, you could turn around and make a brand new rail. You know, just scrap this and use this as a template and make a new one. But when I'm looking at it, I've got a little splice there. I can drop a piece in there and build that back up. And then obviously it needs a new tenon like that. So what I'll do is I'll cut into there and to make a slot all the way down. Drop a piece of oak in that fits in there, and then shape, creating a tenon.
Right.
And then that basically is there. There might be a little bit here to, you know, splice in, but that saves this whole rail then. You know, so
make a new one,
yeah. So we're keeping all the color. We're keeping the original wood, because obviously that's the rebate for the glass on the other side, and that's going to be puttied in and, you know, redone. So that'll be fine. So that's what I'm going to do next.
So you're basically conserving as much of this window as you can without replacing it. Replace what you have to. Conserve what you don't.
So that goes in like that kind of thing. See?
Yeah.
No, yes, it goes in like that. And then so I've just got to create this tenon back again. Slot that back in.
Okay.
Almost.
So that's the bottom part of the pane, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you just...
Well, that will go in there like that, and then
you can shape it.
Then it gets shaped like that. So that will, I think, work. And I've also done, so that goes in there, and this will go in here like that. which then creates the tenon.
So you'll shape it.
Yeah, so, yeah. But I wanted to fit that in first. See, so it's like that. Fit that in.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit there that needs doing. And then cut the tenon to the shape of the mortise. Go. And just add a piece onto there, down to there.
Cool.
Which will be something like that. So just get the height. So I'll just roughly cut that.
And then
then
splice that in,
yeah,
get the height.
And about that long. So I'll cut that on the bandsaw. So that'll go in there like that. Yeah, it's over length at the moment. So yeah, just glue that in like that and then plane it off.
Okay.
So, do that. Bit of glue.
What kind of glue is that?
Animal glue or hide glue, pearl glue, all sorts of names for it.
Why would you use that glue instead of like normal wood glue? Or
because this is quite instant. It will. I can work on this in about 10 minutes. So, and it's also reversible. I can change if it was wrong and I wanted to take it off. All I have to do is heat it up, and it would ping off.
all right.
Even if I left it over a day, it was slow. You could heat it up and it would still come off.
All right.
Glued that in just a few minutes ago. There is a little bit of movement in it, but it's still strong enough for me to plane, hopefully, that I can get it to shape. See? Sometimes it comes off. Ideally, you should just leave it. But see, I got it almost to shape. So I can do the rest with a chisel.
Eventually go the same shape.
But that's almost there, you see. And then I've just got to try to get the mitre right, which will be it'll be something like that. Yeah, I got bits everywhere, so I can't put it together.
So that'll be slotted into that hole.
That'll be slotted into there. What I got to try to do is get this. It should be a mitre, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be about there.
And then you slot that.
And then that, so that marries up. Well, basically, if I do that, you see, I get all over it. I can just kind of get the line there.
And then you slot this thing in here.
Yeah, yeah. That I'll have to see. That what I got to do is, again, taking this apart means that goes in there, that gets dropped in, and then the tenon will slide through there and go all
creating the tenon and stabilizing the bottom.
Yeah, and it goes all the way through and sliding into there.
Yeah.
That way I can then get it all glued. It'd be a bit messy, but it saves taking the whole thing apart, like that one. Because by taking that one apart, I broke 2 tenons, and now I've got to do those.
Yeah.
You see, so...
That's the trial and error.
Yeah, yeah.
The wood that you used on this, where did you get that from to blend
Well,
in so well?
I have stacks of wood I save in my storeroom, and this is old period oak. So it's got a nice brown color, whereas the new oak is either American or Canadian, and it's much paler and a different kind of grain to it. So you've got to save any wood that you have, anything you can get your hands on, you always save it, and then you try to sort it over the years and put it into, you know, period oak, new oak, whatever.
And that's less work to try and blend it.
Yeah, because I use this nice brown oak. It just blends in well, and I haven't even colored it. So I've saved myself hours of work. If it wasn't going to be painted, and I have to color it, then I'm saving myself a lot of time. If it's going to be painted, then obviously you can put anything in it, really. Right. But so yes, that's what I do. Save all that.
Well, when it's finished, we'll come back and show the final product. Okay, so this is the second window. So it's going to be similar to the one before?
Yeah. This is the bottom rail. It's in a worse condition. Whether I can save that one or not I'm not sure, because obviously there's a tenon that is broken off there. There's a tenon that's broken off on this one. The rebate's gone. I might be able to do something with that. I'm not sure yet. As when I took it apart, obviously I didn't mean to, but I snapped the tenon in there and the tenon in there. So I now have to basically cut down there and there, drop a piece in, and extend the tenon so it looks like that.
Right.
Which is pretty straightforward. That's easy. But obviously it's not what I wanted to do. And then get it all glued back together and make the weatherboard for the opposite side, and put all the pegs back in, get it glued up. But again, bottom rail is where the work is.
Okay, so we'll come back when it's all put together then.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on the final stages of this.
Well, almost
these windows.
Final stage.
What do we got to do?
Well, I've now glued this up. So we had a broken tenon on here, broken tenon there, and I managed to rebuild the bottom rail. So it's now all glued together. So what I'm going to do now is make one of these for the reverse side, which is this side. So this is the outside of the window. So I've got to put this weatherboard, make one for here. So what I've done, got a nice piece of period oak here, nice old oak, and this is the offcut from the one I made earlier, and so using that same profile.
All right.
Get it on there, trace it round. So it's pretty much like that. So trace that round, and then I've got to cut all this out, and I do that on the table saw.
Okay,
I'll show you that in a second then.
We'll come back when that's done. We're at the last stage of putting in the glasses, so tell me what you're doing now.
Okay, what I've done is you can see I've put 2 panes in already, so they've been cut and puttied, and those 2 are in. So this is the third one, which I've cut, and that will get putty put in there, dropped in like that, then pushed down and pinned, a couple pins on both sides, and then puttied over like that.
Right.
And this is how I go about. What I did is I went and bought 2 lengths of glass the size of the door, and then what you do is literally just offer it up. Okay, it's two, because none of these panes are square.
Right. Oh yeah, because it's
so you have all individual. So you put it on, get your 2 straight edges in, put a mark there, and then bring it over, and then you cut it, and that's it. And then you do the whole process like that.
Okay, so you gotta. Someone's doing their cart now.
So that'll do. Yeah.
So you gotta putty that in, and when you've done with that,
yeah, I'm gonna cut this so you can.
We'll show you that. Oh, you're gonna do it now, are you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's look at it now.
So.
Oh, cool.
What I'll do is just kind of line the marks over the center of the markings like that. Hold it nice and firm, and then pray.
Wow, so you got to put a bit of pressure, or not too much?
Well, a bit, and then what I do is give it a little bit of a tap. So hang it over the edge. And then put it on the edge there. Line the edge up.
While you pray. Oh wow.
And done. That worked well. So that's that one edge.
And then that sits in there.
So that was like that. And then you offer that back in.
Do the same to that edge.
And so then you kind of get a marker, mark that edge there, that edge there.
And do the exact same thing.
Do the same thing. And that's the process.
Okay, well, we'll come back when it's all done and puttied in, and we'll give you the final reveal then. Okay, so this is the finished window, or windows.
Yeah, these have all now been cut, fitted, pinned, and puttied. Obviously, putty will take a little while to go hard, and then you can clean the glass well. And then, like I say, I'm not sure what the customer wants, whether they want to paint them or just seal them, you know, with an oil or something like that. But this is the outsides. So we've had new weatherboards put on. Everything's been built up. It still has its age and character to it all. On the reverse side, you can see that goes like that. And so this is the inside of the window.
Right.
So basically when they're like that, that is locked. That locks the windows. There must be a something that latches into on both sides of the frame itself.
Yeah.
And so when you want to, the way you would use it, you unlock it like that, open your windows, then open your shutters that are attached to the outside of the building. Then you have a completely open window, and then you can either close the window, leaving the shutters open, and that's how it works.
Okay.
And that's it, all done.
So that's the full project
That's the full Monty.
from the Real Antique Workshop.
Yeah.